The 2019 free agency is about to be the greatest free agent class of all time. There's a ridiculous amount of depth and talent, and we've honestly never seen anything like this before. To give you guys an idea, look at these players available. Of course, some of these guys are restricted, others are unrestricted, and others have player options. But for the most part, everything is up in the air. We don't know who will stay and who will leave, who will take their player options and who will decline their options. It's a huge pool of uncertainty. But in this video, I'm going to give you my take on the top 15 free agents of 2019. Well, the top 15 according to hoopshype.com. And I'll give a quick explanation on why I think each player will either stay or leave. Alright, let's get started. Alright, starting off at number 15, Marc Gasol, stay. While some would think that Gasol's decision will be based on whether or not Kawhi will stay in Toronto, I don't think it's like that. They just won the championship. Gasol has a player option for $26 million next season. And considering that he's 34 years old, I think he's definitely going to take that $26 million and play in Toronto, at least for the 2019-20 season. Afterwards, I'm not sure, but I think he might stay long-term too. Number 14, Al Horford, gone. Similar to Gasol, Horford has a $30 million player option next year, but he already declined it. And according to a recent report, apparently he's looking to sign a 4-year contract with another team. Initially, it was reported by Woj that he would stay in Boston, but I guess that's no longer the case. Number 13, Julius Randle, gone. Unlike the previous two guys, Randle is a young player who just had the best season of his career, and his player option for next season is only $9 million. He already opted out and is now looking for a massive payday. But considering the Pelicans are going to get Zion Williamson, I think Randle's gone. It doesn't make sense to have two similar young players at the same position, especially when Randle is good enough to be a starter on another team. My pick for his new team would be the Dallas Mavericks. Age-wise, his timeline fits perfectly alongside Luka and Porzingis, and the Mavs actually tried to get him before, but he chose to go to New Orleans. The Mavs kinda need an actual power forward now instead of playing Maxi Kleber or putting Luka out of position. Randle's a great fit, and he was also born and raised in Dallas, so that helps too. Number 12, DeMarcus Cousins, gone. Besides the fact that the Warriors won't be able to afford him, unless they want to go even deeper into the luxury tax, I don't think Cousins was planning on staying anyway. And after looking at his overall playoff performance, I'm not too sure the Warriors want to keep him. Also because they did say they want to keep Durant and Klay over Cousins, they're their two biggest priorities, and that's perfectly reasonable despite their injuries. This year with the Warriors was mainly a rehab season for Cousins. It didn't turn out as he hoped, but as for where he's gonna go, I have no idea. I'll take a shot in the dark and say the Knicks? The Knicks have a ton of cap space, and if they don't get anybody else, then maybe they'll throw an offer to Cousins. They do need a center if they let DeAndre Jordan go, and, well, to be honest, they need everything. Number 11, Nikola Vucevic, stay. The Magic made their first playoff appearance since trading away Dwight Howard, and Vucevic became an all-star, had the best season of his career. I don't think they'll let him walk that easily, and the Magic can offer him a 5-year max contract to get him to stay, while other teams can only offer him 4 years. That's a good incentive, and even though he's not worth the max, sometimes you gotta pay the max to keep your good players. I know he had a poor playoff performance, and I'm not sure anybody wants to give Vucevic the max, but he's still gonna get upwards of $30 million a year from somebody. A lot of teams have cap space, and the Magic had a tremendous second half of the season after the All-Star break. If they let Vucevic walk, they'll be starting over again. Number 10, Khris Middleton, stay. Middleton has a $13 million player option, and considering he just had an all-star season and has proven to be the second best player on the Bucks, they'll do whatever they can to re-sign him. He'll definitely opt out and look for a bigger contract from them, but it'll work out. There's no way the Bucks would let him go, especially after having such a successful season. Number 9, Kristaps Porzingis, stay. I mean, they traded away Dennis Smith Jr. for Porzingis with the obvious intention of re-signing him. Luckily, he's restricted, so the Mavs will keep him no matter what, as long as they match whatever offer he gets. The interesting thing here is that the Mavs surprisingly have a lot of options this summer. Once they re-sign Porzingis, they could make an offer for another star, maybe even one of the available superstars. We haven't heard any major stars say that they want to join the Mavs, but it's an option. Number 8, Tobias Harris, gone. Now, I think Harris would stay if he was a restricted free agent, but he's not. He's unrestricted and can go wherever he wants. He's probably gone because it would be hard for the team to pay both him and Butler. They do have their bird rights, so they can technically go over the cap and pay them whatever they want. The issue is that, if they do, this is what their team is going to look like for the next 4 or 5 years, because the Sixers already went all in. They traded Landry Shamet and a future first-round pick for Harris, so it would be counterintuitive if they just let him go. But signing Tobias to, I'm guessing, at least $35 million a year, which is what he wants, that might not be the way to go either. That's like, the fallacy of sunk costs. Since Philly already gave up those assets for Tobias, they feel compelled to pay him a massive amount of money to stay, or else they basically made the trade for nothing. Either way, it's his decision to stay or leave. It's a tough call, and the team has no power to keep him. If Philly lowballs Tobias, that'll probably upset him, and he'll probably leave because of it. Number 7, D'Angelo Russell, gone. If you asked me if Russell would stay a few months ago, I would have definitely said yes. But with recent news that Kyrie is likely going to join the Brooklyn Nets, Russell is now in a weird spot. He had a phenomenal season, he became an all-star and led his team to the playoffs in a season where nobody expected the Nets to do anything. In my opinion, they should give an offer to Russell and keep him, because that's the whole point of rebuilding, right? They shouldn't just let him go when he's shown massive improvements. Russell will certainly get other offers, but if Kyrie goes to Brooklyn, I doubt the Nets would keep Russell. You'd essentially have 2 point guards with similar skill sets in the backcourts taking up most of the cap space. Number 6, Jimmy Butler, stay. He has a player option for next season for $20 million, but he's going to opt out and test free agency. Despite being 30 years old, he's still going to get a max contract from anybody willing to offer it, and that includes Philadelphia. During the regular season, there were times when he was the team's best player, and during the playoffs, he was definitely their best player. I really don't see any situation where Jimmy is not in a Sixers jersey next season. The only possibility is that another team really tries to lure him hard. Reportedly, the Lakers have been trying to make a move for him, but the Sixers had a very good season, pushing the eventual champion Raptors to 7 games, and lost on a game-winning shot. That's as good as you can get, and I really doubt Jimmy would leave after that. Number 5, Klay Thompson, stay. Klay has made it known that he wants a max contract from the Warriors, and from his recent performances, he certainly deserves it. The Warriors reciprocated and said the same thing, as they also plan on offering Klay the max, along with Durant too, according to Brian Windhorst. Even though he suffered a devastating torn ACL, it's an injury he should recover from. The luxury tax and the repeater tax will hit the Warriors really hard. But the ownership has been going deep into their pockets in recent seasons anyway. The 2019-20 season will be a recovery season for the team, then they'll hit the ground running in the year after that. Number 4, Kemba Walker, stay. I'm aware that Kemba loves the city and he loves playing for Charlotte, but over the last couple years, or basically his entire career, he never had enough help. The Hornets have said that they would do whatever they can to keep Kemba, and Kemba likes that too. But after the trade deadline, it was apparent that their lack of moves really pissed him off. According to a report, not trading for Marc Gasol soured Kemba on the Hornets, and who could blame him? During his time there, they never signed or traded for a major secondary star, unless you consider an old Dwight Howard as one. Even through all of this, Kemba still loves Charlotte. He made it known that he wants to stay there for the rest of his career, and of course, the Hornets want to keep him. Number 3, Kyrie Irving, gone. I've talked about Kyrie's possible destinations in a previous video, and in that video I said that I thought he'd stay in Boston. But with recent news, it looks like Brooklyn is the most likely destination. And like how I mentioned during the D'Angelo Russell part, I think it's a weird fit if both of them play there. Other options for Kyrie could have been the Knicks or Lakers. There's also been some rumblings that Kyrie and LeBron have talked about teaming up again, but as of now, that probably won't happen. At this point, if he's not going to Brooklyn, I'd be pretty surprised. Looks like the Vegas odds were correct on this one. Number 2, Kawhi Leonard. Stay. A lot of talk going on with Kawhi. We've seen moments throughout the season where he made it clear he wasn't focused on free agency. We've seen scouts and members of the Clippers organization attend Raptor games, possibly trying to recruit Kawhi. But I think with their championship run, it's been a great ride and he seems to enjoy the city. He enjoys being around his teammates and the organization. Obviously, nobody knows what Kawhi is thinking, but he emerged as a true leader of the team, something that he wasn't back in San Antonio. With how successful the Raptors were, there's no way he could leave, right? And number 1, Kevin Durant. Stay. As I mentioned earlier in the segment with Klay, the Warriors have made it clear that they're going to re-sign both Durant and Klay to max contracts. It's kinda surprising at first because throughout the course of the season, there's been a lot of questions surrounding Durant. There's been talk in the locker room, altercations between him and Draymond Green. Early in the season, Draymond even got suspended by the team for daring Durant to leave in free agency. Reportedly, he even told Durant, "We don't need you. We won without you. Leave." Obviously, things have changed since then. Durant played his heart out in the playoffs and even tried to come back too early, before getting an awful Achilles injury. Although he's projected to miss the entire 2019-20 season, he's still gonna get the max because he is Kevin Durant. And that's all, folks. Those were all my predictions for the top 15 players of the 2019 free agent class. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which ones do you think will stay and which ones will go? Do you agree or disagree with some of my statements? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.